Hi, my name is John Paul Raj, and I'm on a mission to make the learning of math fun. So if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing. This is part 4 of Vectors and Transformations, a unit from igcse 0607 International Math course. So if you haven't already seen any of the earlier parts, I'm going to link them in the description box below. Please go ahead and take a look at them. Let's start. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to use the CAS version of the TI Nspire CX-II. So without any further delay, I'm going to go ahead and add a graph page and hit escape to get rid of that function entry edit line. On this video, we're talking about dilations, aka enlargement. So sometimes the books might say dilation and sometimes it'll say enlargement. Mostly in the igcse curriculum, they use the word enlargement. So if you're using the TI Nspire CX-II, remember dilation, what it means by dilation in the geometry menu is actually the same thing as enlargement on your textbooks, okay? So AKA, also known as. Let's go ahead and add a triangle, geometry, shapes, and we're going to add a simple triangle to understand how to use this TI Nspire CX-II to understand dilations or enlargement. Now, enlargements are described by a center of enlargement and the scale factor. So we need both those ideas, all right? The center and the scale factor. So let me fill this with a nice yellow color, and that's my object. And we are going to get the coordinates of the object, the vertices of the object, that is. There we go, and here we go. All right, now what we need is the center and the scale factor. So we've got to be a little careful how we use this. So I'm going to come to geometry, and when I go to transformations and I say dilation, remember dilation is the same thing as enlargement, okay? So what it does is it's going to ask me for the object as always. So remember, when you're hovering around the object till it says triangle or whatever the object is, if it's a polygon, it must say polygon ABCD. If it's a triangle, it must say triangle ABC. So click that, and now you need to indicate the center and then the scale factor. So I'm going to go and bring it somewhere here to indicate as a center. Click there, and immediately there type in your scale factor. Let's say we want it 3 times. Okay, so 3 times 3, just like that. And when you say that, it's gone way up there. So if that's the center of enlargement, I'm going to hit escape to get rid of the tool now. The tool is gone. So the center of enlargement is D, and the scale factor is 3. So that, you know, this AC is 1, 2, 3, 4. That one should be 12 then. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, A prime, C prime, as you can see, is 3 times the length of AC. And if you want to see everything, this should be, let me just make this something like 12. No, it's not visible. Maybe 22. And there you can see that now, all right? So it might be a little skewed, like I said, because the aspect ratio. Sometimes you can actually do a good zoom by saying zoom square. It does give a decent one, but you can't see it clearly, you know. But I think the only way to do it is, you know, to get the full view. It's going to be a little skewed, but that's the way we can show enlargement. And at the same time, if you move this center of enlargement away, can you see that? It's pretty dynamic that way. So even if I bring it to the other side, all right, of the object, and you can see that moves there. And what we can do is that, let me just change the color of this thing, of the image, that is, okay? So that's the image now. And watch what I'm going to do. This 3 represented the scale factor, right? So if I make it 1/3, watch what's going to happen, okay? 1/3, watch, okay? Don't blink. Can you see that? You see that? Now that's really zoomed in quite a bit, but you can even play around it that way. And what if I make it a negative number? All right, you almost have studied this thing, right? So let's make it something like a -2. Okay, watch what's going to happen. It's on the other side. Can you see that? 2 times, but it's on the other side. So the center of enlargement is somewhere in the middle, and it goes in the other side. So this is a good way to learn when you're studying enlargements, because, you know, there'll be a lot of paper waste when you're trying to draw that. I'm not saying you should not do it on paper, because at the time of the exam, you have to use paper and pen, the geometrical tools, to do it there. But when you're studying, I think it's a good way to use technology to understand, well, what actually happens when you have a negative scale factor when it comes to enlargement, okay? What happens when it's a fraction? This way you can study and you can look at the coordinates of the image also. Quickly, let's do that. But at the time of the exam, remember, you'll not be allowed to use this option in the press to test mode. This option gets locked. So if it's a class assessment, if it's homework, you can always use this feature to check your answers. And if it's a class test where the teacher has allowed you to use the calculator in its full glory without any press to test restriction, then you can always use this to check your work. you need to learn to use your geometrical instruments. That never gets out of the way, okay? So the construction should be shown with all the arcs and the straight lines joining the center of enlargement, okay? So the corresponding point B and B prime going through the center of enlargement, you know how you're showing the angle also, all right? When it comes to a rotation, you know, when it's a rotation, you have to use the protractor. So all with proper geometrical instruments, you got to show your construction. But this is a good way to check your work before you submit it to the teacher, if the teacher has allowed you to use the calculator in its full glory without any press to test restriction. I hope that this video was useful to you in some way, but if you have any questions or suggestions about using the TI Nspire CX-II for geometrical transformations, do let me know in the comments below. I'm going to see you all in the next video.